Hi all. We've always believed communication to be crucial, and we continue through these unusual times. I think communication is even more so important. So I'm going to do a weekly video bulletin for the next few weeks to ensure we can keep you up to date with everything that is happening. I'll obviously continue to do our monthly newsletter, so you'll also get things in paper. Firstly, can I start by thanking you and your children for contributing towards a really successful start to our new year. The children's behaviour has been exemplary, and although changes have occurred to ensure the safety of everyone, the children have taken it all in their stride. I'm really proud of them, and I'm sure you are too. Whilst talking about how behaviour has contributed towards the success, I'd also like to thank you for your patience and timekeeping that has been largely excellent, and that is so important both to make the staggered start and ends of the day effective and enabling sufficient space to ensure people can social distance. Can I thank you for your consideration when parking? Almost all the parents and carers are respecting the cones that are there to keep us all safe. Yesterday, unfortunately, it was reported a car, ignoring the system, did knock into a parent who unfortunately was walking to collect his child. Well, actually, fortunately, because he didn't have his child with him. Otherwise, the result could have been very different. And this demonstrates the need to respect the parking restrictions. We're thankful this wasn't one of our pupils. The story may have ended differently. So thank you for all those that are abiding by the restrictions, or even better, walking, biking, scooting, or parking well away from the school entrances. It's much appreciated. I am sure, like us, you are aware of the increase in people also testing positive, and I want to do my best to reduce your anxiety of all this. As we go forward, it is vital we continue to work together and to keep each other safe and smiling. The Principal Education Officer of the local authority has asked all head teachers to strongly encourage parents to wear face masks when they drop the children off and pick the children up as they enter the school site. At the moment, we're asking you to do it in reception, but the Principal Education Officer has asked us if you could wear them as soon as you enter school site or just before you enter school site, as they've witnessed that social distancing around the school gates as a possible issue and easy transmission for viruses. That's not so necessarily parks, that's talking about schools in general, but I'm sure if it's school in general, we may fit into that too. If you're able, as I'm aware some of you already do, we would appreciate your actions in keeping everybody safe by wearing a face mask. I'm sure you're also aware there's been a number of positive coronavirus cases in schools across the city, across the country, certainly across the county. And I would like to take this opportunity to reassure you that we have done and will continue to do all we can to make the school as COVID secure as possible. We've worked really closely with government guidance all the way through, and we're continuing to do that. And we're also working closely with our Public Health England officials to make the school as safe as possible, and importantly, restrict the impact if one of our community did happen to test positive. The children are regularly and thoroughly hand washing throughout the day, as you well know, and we'd like you to help us by making sure they wash their hands and change their clothes when they get home. Staff are wearing face masks and or shields when they're doing close work in the classrooms with your child. And when they're serving meals in the dining room, everybody is wearing a face mask or a shield or both. The children are also walking in a single file, one behind the other, again, to reduce the chances of transmission if there was somebody without symptoms who was positive. We're ensuring that all the rooms are well ventilated. And staff are wiping down areas before a new class or an individual use it throughout the day. So if I was to hear a child read in my office, then before the next child came in, I would get my antibac or disinfectant spray out and I would clean the chair and the desk in order to make sure that if somebody was positive but not displaying any symptoms, that actually we're keeping everybody as safe as possible. The children have classroom seating plans and the teachers are aware of these. They may actually move throughout the day, but the teachers are very clear of which children are sitting where. And so that if a child did test positive, we would not necessarily have to send the whole class home and disrupt learning further for all of them, although the decision will be dependent on the advice from Public Health England. All of the things that we are doing is very well detailed in our very extensive risk assessment. And it's that risk assessment that we review and revise on a weekly and sometimes on a daily basis in order to make sure that the school is as safe as possible. Now, even with everything in place, however evidence shows that a positive case may arise, Public Health England have highly praised New College for their procedures, but as I'm sure you're aware, this didn't stop members of the community testing positive. It's often not being caught in school, but being caught outside of school, and therefore being brought in. Public Health England have made it clear, though, that the actions the school took were effective and limited the impact of the health of others and the disruption of the learning of most. We have similar stringent measures in place, but we do need your help. So please help us by continuing to social distance and, if possible, to wear face masks on the playground. Help us by not sending your child to school if they have a temperature or a prolonged cough. So not necessarily a runny nose, that's okay. Sore throat, that's okay. But a prolonged cough, and they're defining that as a cough that is lasting for more than 30 minutes, or a prolonged cough for several episodes during a day, and if they've lost their taste and smell. Please also help us, if your child has gone for a test, please do not send them back to school until you have the result back, even if they no longer have symptoms, or even if they didn't have symptoms before. If you felt the need to have the children tested, it is vital that you have the result back. If they come to school without having the result back, we will be asking you to take them home until that's the case. And that's purely just to make sure that we are minimising any impact of a positive case. Please be mindful of who and how many children your child is also playing with after school. We obviously work very closely. We've got them restricted into classes and bubbles in school, and we know exactly who they've been with. Also, by knowing how many children they're playing with outside of school, that will help reduce their chance of catching it from a child who may be positive. And again, that could be without symptoms. All these things will help us keep each other safe. Now on to more exciting things. So today we had our very first Friday virtual award assembly. And in that assembly, we celebrated our birthdays. We celebrated the fact that as a school, we have ran, walked, hopped, skipped 796 miles around our daily mile track just in this week alone. I'll say that again, 796 miles we have travelled around our daily mile track. If we put all of our efforts together of each individual child into one straight line, that's equivalent to running to Scotland and back. So well done, children, and we're looking forward to seeing if we can get more than 796 miles next week. We also celebrated the class attendance awards, so check in with your class, your child, to see if they got the attendance award, and that will mean that they get a trophy that they hold in their classroom all week. And we celebrated the efforts of 2 children in every class who had had a particularly fantastic week or had done something particularly fantastic. Hopefully 2 more children will be chosen next week. And again, you'll know if it's your child because next week they'll come home with a prize from my prize tray. And you'll also receive a postcard telling you exactly why your child has been chosen for this special award. Next week, we hope you will all join us in the Zoom meetings that we're holding. And that's the Zoom meetings next week will be very short. They're just purely just to say hello so you can meet your child's teacher and we can see who can join us on Zoom and who can't. And that's so that we're ready to go with live lessons if a class or a bubble did need to go into lockdown. What we're trying to do is to ensure that we can provide a really good, solid education, whether the children are in school or not in school. So please do all you can to log in and join us. Join one of your classes, and it won't be long, I promise, and you'll have a chance to meet your child's teacher, which I know is limited at the moment, and we are as sad as you about that. Don't also worry if 2 of your children have a Zoom meeting at the same time or very similar times. We've tried to avoid it, but time is very limited due to staff having staff meetings after school. All you need to do is just make at least one of them. If you can make more than that, that's brilliant because you'll meet different children's class teacher. But if you can only make one, the staff will then let each other know that you can access Zoom, and then we know that everything will be okay if we needed to go to remote learning. So can I just say once again, thank you very much for your cooperation, and have a lovely weekend. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.